Rosie wanted to say hi to you guys. And she has got her special Spider-Man shirt because she's a hero at heart, aren't you? Hello Disney family! So I actually have Rosie here because this is a dedicated video for her. I am now a nursing mom again, which means that I have to find places to nurse my baby. Sometimes I can walk and nurse. I'm not saying I can't do that, but it's actually harder and she doesn't really like it. So I have to find a place to sit. And I still want to be able to enjoy the magic while I'm there. And while I realize this is a very niche audience, this is a very important thing to know, because the other thing is you typically aren't taking your nursing child to Disney World alone. You probably have some older kids. So you want to be able to make sure that you are taking these kids on other experiences and you're still able to nurse your baby. Now I realize you can obviously go to the baby center and do that if you want. But if you're like me and you want to go all day because you got an agenda, then here are the best places to nurse on the Walt Disney World property. Now, several factors went into making this list. It needs to be a covered space, for example. It's not sitting out in the open, so if it's raining, you can still nurse the baby. I also prefer air conditioning because it can be hot, but you don't necessarily need to nurse in an air-conditioned place, but it is covered. It also needs to be long enough to get a good nursing session in. So for example, you can't watch a 5-minute show, and it also needs to not be a moving vehicle. Like, I'm not gonna tell you to go nurse on Pirates of the Caribbean because you're gonna drop and that baby's gonna go flying. There is just one moving attraction on this, but it doesn't really count because you're in a theater. I will try to put in the number of minutes of each of the attractions so that you know based on how long your baby nurses for. So let's start with Magic Kingdom and the Carousel of Progress. It is a 21-minute ride. They have theater-style seating, so it's a great place to sit, and you're air-conditioned and it's comfortable inside. Perfect place to go. The Hall of Presidents, also another long animatronic show that you can nurse your baby in. Country Bear Jamboree, and the Tiki Room. Now Epcot, the American Adventure. It's a 30-minute show. It's long enough to feed twins if you need to. The Disney Pixar Short Film Festival. So, moving on to Hollywood Studios. Now I break a couple of my rules in this because, well, just because, you'll see. You'll see. First is Muppet Vision 3D. It is like, you know, because of the attraction itself, I don't know if I necessarily would, but because it ticks all the boxes of my qualifications for being one of these places to nurse a baby, Muppet Vision 3D is in it. Fantastic. This one does not tick all my boxes, but it's a long enough show, and really, it's only just not an uncovered space, but it's a good space to nurse a baby. And really, it's only once a day that you can really go do it. So if you want that kind of late night, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock feeding, if your kid has that kind, fantastic, it's a good place to do it. Next is the Frozen Sing-Along. This is a great place. There's not a lot of loud anything. It just tells the story of Frozen, and the characters come out and sing, but it's a perfect place to nurse a baby. Beauty and the Beast live on stage. Part of this theater is covered, part of it is not. I would go into the more covered parts, but it's long enough. Good place. Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular. Finishing up at Hollywood Studios, last but not least, Voyage of the Little Mermaid. Now notice, some of these shows, if you have an older baby, like my baby's only 3 months, but if you have an older baby and they might get startled by loud noises, not all of these shows are gonna work for you. Moving on to Animal Kingdom. It's Tough to Be a Bug. Now this is one of those shows I was talking about. It does have some loud noises, it gets dark, it can be kind of scary. If you have a younger baby who's not really gonna notice, it doesn't matter, but if you have an older baby, it may not work for them. The Nemo Live on Stage show, the Lion King stage show, Rivers of Light, which is just a once or twice a night type of show. It's their nighttime show. That's a good place to nurse a baby. And last but not least, I have not been to this show because it's brand new. It's Up, A Great Bird Adventure. And so I have not yet experienced that, but I assume if it's similar to the other bird show, it's gonna be a good place to nurse a baby. Now, like I said, this is for a very specific audience, but I hope it helps to keep a little more magic so you don't have to stop your day to go and nurse your baby. There are plenty of places to nurse your baby, and when all else fails, just do it while you're walking around the park. But do not nurse your baby on a moving ride. Come on guys, we all know this, right? Don't nurse your baby on a moving ride. It's just not safe, they aren't long enough, and I want you guys to keep your babies safe, which is why I've made a full list of suggestions. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to join my Disney family and hit that subscribe button. And as always, I hope to make your trip just a little more magical. See you guys real soon. Bye.